Flosstube friends. I hope you're all doing well. It is Sunday morning here, March 6th, and we're having a very interesting day in Michigan. We're having some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts because the past 2 days have been like a glorious spring, like 50 and 60 degrees, and now tomorrow is supposed to be 36. So it's very interesting weather out there, but the sun is shining, and I'm here to spend some time with you guys. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Melanie, and this is my channel about cross stitch and some sewing sometimes, and sometimes some knitting, you know, whatever my crafty passions are, but mainly cross stitch. So I hope you guys have been doing well. I guess first update is my happy wall. The past couple of weeks I did some work in my craft room. I really wanted to be able to see my stuff on the wall, and I just hung some of the framed pieces. I'm just, you know, pop them in frames. Kim Goldman is so great about just popping something in a frame and displaying it, and you know, if you don't like that, you can move it to a different one. So I kind of followed her lead and just popped them up there and hung some of my very favorite finishes. This one here, see if I can do this, above my head is Christmas Eve by the Prairie Schooler. I stitched that on 28 count tea-dyed Monaco, and that is one of my very favorite finishes. My mom says it's her very favorite. And then I've got Snow Day from Prairie Schooler up here. I realized as I was hanging these, I had quite a few Prairie Schooler finishes. Yeah, so it's so sweet and nice to be able to look at. I've got a couple of gifts from friends. This Snoopy was from my friend Cindy DeRosa, who's Cindy's Cross Stitch. This is from my niece Millie, this little cross stitch doggy. And then this is from my friend Nicole, the Buckeye Stitcher. It was a little bunny because she knows I'm obsessed with bunnies. And then over here you can see my little frog popping out. This is from Taryn Verley. She also has a Flosstube. Go check her out. And then my penny pole right here from Penny's Daughter Shares, Michelle. So it's nice to just come in this room. I work in here. Right now I'm working from home, and it's nice to just be able to see the cross stitch, you know, and not have it in a drawer, not have it hiding somewhere, just to be able to see it, even if it's not hung perfectly, or all of them are not in frames. I just use the very tiny, teensy tiniest little tacks to put them into the wall, and yeah, it makes me happy. So that's one of the things I've been up to. But I wanted to start this video very first thing because I just can't wait to announce the giveaway winners. So last week I was giving away Valentine's Day Holiday Hoopla by Brenda Gervais. And this is that adorable angel. I finished her. I showed my finish on this last week. And the winner for this is Mom Stitcher. Congratulations. I really hope, I still feel the Valentine's vibe. I still have my Valentine's decorations up. So I really hope you enjoy stitching her. She was a lot of fun. So I'll comment on your comment with my email, and just send me an email and I'll get it out to you. And then next is, I'm obsessed with these bluebirds now by Misty Purcell from Luminous Fiber Arts. I just think they're so adorable. And the first one I've stitched is Be Mine. And the winner for this is Rebecca Deischer. Congratulations. Same thing, I will comment on your comment with my email. Just get in touch with me. I really, really hope you enjoy it. He was such a fun stitch and just really gave me that Valentine vibe. So congratulations to the winners. So I have two more giveaways that I would like to just get out there right now since we're on the giveaway vibe. The first one, and I should be back in 3 weeks. The first one is Plum Street Samplers Berry Cottage. I love this pattern. I love the strawberries. I love the sheep standing on what looks like to me watermelon halves and the beautiful colors in this. So if you would like to be entered to win this chart, just put the word berry in your comment. And then next is an older pattern that I found at my LNS quite a while back. It was published in 2007. I don't know if you hear that. Every morning, my two doggies, yes, you guys, they get a bone, and you know, like a tiny little rawhide. And it's so funny because they're so sweet and snuggly and they love each other so much. But when the bones come out, if anybody approaches anybody else, they never like are growling or aggressive, but they'll make these funny sounds just to like, hey, back off. This is my pony. So I always enjoy those morning sounds in my house. Okay, so this one was published in 2007 and it's called Harvest Angel and it's by Lottie Da. And this is like a cardstock paper. I just think this is beautiful. I absolutely love that fall vibe to it. I love the angel, the pumpkins. I just think this is so cute. And it's just one of those charts that, you know, you're not going to find maybe unless you're looking through some older patterns at an LNS. So I really like this one a lot. What are you crying about? Come here. Maggie wants to come and say hi. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Are you going to look at the camera? You want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi. Oh, that's my other dog that I'm babysitting for a friend. She's a bigger dog. And if I give any love at all to these two, she gets very jealous and starts barking. How you doing? This one is the one that likes to stare at me all day, every day. Oh, okay. Getting down. All right, so let's talk about the agenda for today. We've got the giveaways out of the way. I'm going to do some quick life updates. I'm going to go through my finish that I've got, my whips, plans for March, some of my picks from Market that I already ordered, must stitch charts, and happy card. So let's get started. Okay, so life updates. The past month has been good, really good stuff, and some harder stuff. Let's start with the good. It's always good to start with the good. So my little niece Grace is in a play, a high school play called You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And I'm actually going to see her this afternoon. The play starts at 3 o'clock. So her group that they're, you know, rehearsing and everything, they needed a bunch of Linus blankets as props for the play. So my sister Melissa, who's just recently fired up Beatrice, who's the sister sewing machine to my sewing machine, Eugenie. We named him after the two sisters, the two royal sisters. She busted out Beatrice and had no fear. She's never made a blanket in her life and just started sewing away. And she made these blankets for the play, I guess, you know, opening night was on Friday, and I guess it was a real hit. So proud of you, sister. She is Snow Day Stitcher on Instagram, if you'd like to check out some of her stuff. But in the midst of this, Gracie and Amelia were helping with some of these crafts, and Gracie started making her own pillows. There's just nothing that girl can't do, and she made me this. She knows I love bunnies. Look how adorable this is. I mean, she's never been trained on a sewing machine. She even did like the embroidery that I had done on my pillow with the little leaves. I love it so much, Gracie. So I cherish it. It was really, really sweet to see how much she enjoyed it. I think she's really going to get into a sewing machine. She asked for a sewing machine for her birthday, which is coming up in a few days. So they've been very busy there. My niece Amelia has been competing in Battle of the Books, which is just incredible. She is the best reader that I know, and she reads these books and then they have to answer questions and they have to remember how to spell the author's name and which author goes with which title. And her final round is today, so I'm wishing her lots of luck on that. My other little nieces, we had a birthday party for Magnolia. Such a big girl. She turned 3 and it was adorable. She's such a cutie. It's so funny. She blew out her candles, and now you can wish for it when you're a kid, maybe a Barbie, a pony, anything like this. And she said, I wished for love and all my family. I don't know how I can think of that. I just can't believe she's that deep of a thinker at 3 years old. It was so precious. It was so, so sweet. And my niece Sophie has been skiing. This child is skiing. She's on the chairlift. She skis without poles, without fear. I just think it's awesome because she's so young. She's going to turn 5 here in about a month, and she's already skiing, which is, I think, fantastic. So that's been all the really good stuff, and I'm so grateful for. The tough stuff has been regarding my health. So I had already mentioned to you guys that some pain in my side had led me to a colonoscopy. Thank God, because they found precancerous polyps, one of which is a bit of a special surgery I need to get done, which is upcoming in the next couple months. But this pain wouldn't go away, and this pain was like, you know, like a constant ache in my side, but then sharp, like I felt like I was just being stabbed, and it would take my breath away. And so I knew something wasn't right. And I had gone to my doctor, and she, you know, gave me a CAT scan. Everything came back normal. Took blood work, all came back normal. But I just knew, and I encourage this for you guys too, right? Because doctors really try. If you go into the field to be a doctor and you spend that much time dedicating your life to helping people, you know, they're doing the best they can, but the human body is just so complicated. Some symptoms present like other symptoms. We've got a million things going on in this body of ours. So I knew something wasn't right. And so I went back to my GI doctor and I said, I know this pain isn't normal. I know this pain isn't right. And he said, well, let's try another CAT scan. And they had me do a barium swallow. And thank God they identified what it is. And I had a feeling they would, because the day I went for the CAT scan, I was in a lot of pain. The bad news is it's going to require some surgery on my intestines. Now, you're speaking to the girl here who has never had stitches. I've never been in the hospital. I've never broken a bone. I literally had never had an IV until a couple of months ago when all this testing started. So I am so fortunate. I am so lucky for that. But I'm going to be facing some surgery, 2 surgeries in the upcoming months. And I'm trying to keep perspective on it, that I am so lucky I was not diagnosed with cancer, as I know several people have been, which has got to be heart-wrenching. So I just have to get some stuff in my tummy fixed. So I'm trying to keep that positive attitude towards it. And the pain is intermittent. It comes and goes, thank goodness, because some days it's just really hard. All I want to do is curl up and stitch. But, you know, some days are good too. So that's what's been going on with me. Let's get on to stitching. I know that's why you're here. We're already like 15 minutes in, I think. So let's talk about stitching. First thing I wanted to share is my finish. Now, as you guys know, I had mentioned before, let me grab my stack. I had mentioned before that my sister sat me down at the end of last year and said, okay, Melanie, you've got like 34 whips. We need to get some of these done. They're very much into like, okay, let's get some of these done. So we went through my whips and marked down, I got this planner. This adorable little dog planner, just super simple with like the months and the days, and that's it. There's some note pages in the back, but we went through my whips and we marked down the ones, okay, these are the ones we can get done. So I've been very focused on those, like, okay, sister said it, we're gonna do it. So far, let me flip to the back, I have finished Prairie Schooler, Christmas Eve was one of them. The January Cottage, which I don't have hanging up there. So I've got my 3rd must-finish whip done for the year, and that is my oldest whip, Little House Needleworks Winter Wonderland. So I adore this chart. I started this on a stitch along with Priscilla and Chelsea back in 2017. I mean, just look at how cute he is with the little cardinal and the bunnies. He's just like the picture perfect Frosty the Snowman in my mind. I stitched him on, I'm going to hold everything up with my planner today. I stitched him on 28 count wheat Lugana using all the colorful threads. And here he is. Isn't he so cute? Oh, I love him so much. I finished him last night and I put in 2 little beads for the eyes, 2 little black beads for the eyes. And I'm just so happy with how he turned out. I'm really, really glad to have this one finished, and now I can finally get it up on my wall and enjoy seeing it because he's so adorable. So adorable. So I was really, really happy to get that one done. Moving on. Okay, I guess my next finish. When I started making project bags, I watched Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, her YouTube channel. She had a walkthrough tutorial on how to make yourself a project bag. And after making several of them, I kind of modified the pattern so I could have a bit more of the contrasting fabric on top, above and below the zipper. And anyway, I started making these bags and I'm obsessed. I love doing it. But I remember that very first video that she had, she showed the perfect fabric combo Valentine's Day. And I immediately ran to the Fat Quarter shop and bought this fabric. And this was like a year ago, over a year ago, probably, maybe about a year ago. And I just was waiting for Valentine's Day to roll around the following year so I could make them. And so I made this one for myself and I made some for my family and they all loved them. But here it is. How cute is that? When she just showed this, I just died. I mean, look at these little queen, and they're all stamps. You know, some are upside down, some are sideways, and this contrasting fabric with the hearts. Oh, I love it so much. And it's the hearts on the inside, and then I found those little charms on Etsy, the little heart charm, and some of those beads, and I just adore this. Oh, so this made me really, really happy, and I've got some of my Valentine's Day projects in it. And like I said, I made them for my family too, and they were really excited too. So that was a super fun finish. And then, let's talk whips. So I was watching the Globetrotting Stitcher, Amy, who is fantastic. If you have not seen her channel, go check her out. And she was stitching Will You Be My Valentine by Thistles. How cute is that sheep? I mean, the sheep struck me. He's so adorable, but the colors in this, my gosh, I will say Thistles charts. I'm also stitching Star Village. Their charts just really utilize colors so beautifully. I see them and I feel like it's jaw-dropping. So I am stitching mine on 32 count Wren by Picture This Plus using all the called for threads. And here's where I got to. So I dove right in for that card. I love that color. I think it's Gentle Arts Crystal Lake, if I'm remembering correctly. It is such a beautiful blue. I love those flowers. I actually started this on 36 count Patriot Sprue because I think that's a beautiful fabric. But what I found is I feel like the darkness of the fabric kind of washed out the pop of color. Like when I see this, I just love that the fabric's a little lighter and you just get that beautiful pop. So I restarted it and I'm super glad that I did because I just adore it. So this is definitely going to continue in my whip rotation in March. I really love this pattern. It's such a joy to stitch. Such a joy. Okay, next, I was watching Taryn Verlay. I'm telling you, girl, you influenced me. And she was stitching a duplicate stitch pattern, and it was of a bunny in patriotic outfit. Excuse me, my throat is a little dry. And it just put me in the patriotic mood, and I wanted to pull out my United We Stand by Teresa Kogut. I love this pattern so much. When I saw it, I immediately ran and purchased it and started it, and have now restarted it. Those of you who know me know I'm a restarter. I have no qualms about tossing out something and restarting if it is not to my liking, which is probably, I could get a lot more done if I didn't have that habit. But I restarted it on the same fabric, Vintage Country Mocha, 32 count, 1/1, or 2/2 with the threads. But I wanted to change the one girl to look more like me and my family. We're brown-haired girls. We're brunettes. So I went back and restarted. Isn't that so adorable? And I made her a brunette, and I just love the colors. I had looked at this hashtag on Instagram too, and was very inspired by a lot of people who had used fancy floss in place of the DMC. The DMCs are beautiful, and I've used DMC on the majority of it, but I've decided the dresses and the crown and their dresses that are going to come down are going to be in variegated fancy flosses. So I just love this. I think it looks so cute. I'm really, really happy with how it's turning out. But as I go, if you're interested in the colors I use for the dress, I will mention what they are if you're interested and you see how it turns out. So I had a lot of fun stitching on that. That was a lot of fun. Okay, next is Threadwork Primitives, Endless Hearts. I call this one Valentine's Day in my whips. I was immediately drawn to this pattern. I saw it on 1, 2, 3 Stitch. I just love how primitive and simple it looks. It's just such a beautiful pattern. I am stitching mine on 36 count Patriots Brew 2/2 with the called for threads, and there's just 2. It is Old Hickory by Gast and Cayenne by Weeks Dye Works. And here's what I got to. So I am so close to a finish. I mean, this one's stitched up really quickly. It's a repeating pattern. You know, you can get in the flow of it and just keep going. So this is in my plans in March to get this one finished. I'm definitely going to make a little pillow out of it. I just love it so much. It's such a beautiful pattern. Those colors are so pretty. Really, really enjoying that one. As you can see, I kind of got on a Valentine kick. I was all about the love and the hearts and the cutesy sheeps with hearts and all the hearts and hearts. So here's more hearts. My next whip is Valentine House Trio. Now I finished this top one. Let's see, if you look on my wall right here, that's the first one I did. That pink house just drew me in. I had to immediately stitch that. And then the next one I went to is this one down here, the birds with the Valentine in between. Be mine. So my plan for these, like I said, I've popped this little guy in a frame right now and I love it because I can see it. But my plan for these is in my kitchen. I want to have like a long white shelf with my Valentine decorations, and I want to hang them as like 3 ornaments, you know, from the little hooks. So that's the long-term goals. But here is where I got to on the Be Mine. So I don't have very much more left on this. So this is definitely in the rotation for March to get finished. I just have to come back over here with the border, another bird here, and then a few random hearts, and it's done. I love that bunting at the bottom. These are such beautiful charts. And there's more of them. There's like Easter trio and winter trio and summer trio. And of course I want to stitch all the things. But yeah, I definitely want to get this trio finished so that I can put them up in my kitchen. Okay, next. I am in a stitch along on this one. I found this pattern, I don't remember where I saw this. I can't even remember where I saw this, but when I did, I lost my mind. It is called Stitching and Quilt, and it is by, I'm going to try to say it, what's a Cuore? Do I sound Italian? I don't know. That is how I think you pronounce it. If that's not it, I apologize. And this is Stitching and Quilt. I think what draws me to this pattern is that little girl and the house and the strawberries. It makes me think of strawberry shortcake. Strawberry shortcake was a big deal when I was a little girl, and I loved her. And there's just something sweet and innocent about it that reminds me of like all the strawberry shortcake girls. They lived in those little houses and strawberries, and yeah. So I saw this and I immediately had to stitch it. And my friend Alba Stitcher, Amanda, go check out her channel on Instagram. She has another one of the charts. Let me show you. She has Halloween and Quilt. So I guess it's a series. Look at how adorable that little girl is. At the bottom is a witch with that moon and that little birdie. Oh my gosh, these are just so adorable. So she reached out to me and said, how about if we do a stitch along? And I said, absolutely, I'll do a stitch along. And so I also went and bought all the charts. Yeah, so I was like, wait, there's a Halloween one? And so I'll just show you these now. I went down this rabbit hole, and these are all on the must-stitch list that I talked about in my last video. So Halloween and Quilt that Amanda's doing. Absolutely love that one. This one, oh gosh, a Spring and Quilt. Look how adorable she is with those wings. And the ladybugs at the top, and that little umbrella with clouds and a polka dot. Hearts coming out of the chimney. Oh my gosh. These scream strawberry shortcake vibe to me. Excuse me. This one is, excuse me, Christmas and Quilt. Love the church on this one. Love, oh, I just love it all. It's so beautiful. The colors are beautiful. This one, which I think is my second favorite, and I'm going to stitch next. And summer is not my favorite season, but this one, oh, Summer in Quilt. Look at that ice cream stand. And she's flying a kite. And the little fishies. Oh my gosh. I can't. These are so adorable. And the last one is Winter in Quilt. Love it. The snowman, I'm going to change a little bit. This guy looks just a wee bit creepy to me. I don't know if it's because it's a snowman with hair. I don't know, but I'm going to change that one up a little bit. But the rest of it, I just adore. So cute. She's on ice skates. Oh my gosh, are those not the cutest patterns? So now I want to stitch them all, which is why I purchased them all. So Amanda, the stitching and quilt hashtag is going to live for like the next 40 years. We're just going to keep that alive. So like I said, I started stitching in quilt, and I am stitching mine on 32 count American Chestnut by R&R. And this is where I got to. Now, the first thing I will say is I was shocked how big these are. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. Like there's a lot of stitching in there, but for some reason in my mind, I pictured it kind of like, maybe an 8.5 by 11 size. These are big patterns. Now, like I said, I'm stitching mine on 32 count, and I almost finished this first block. Look how cute she is. Oh my gosh, I loved every single stitch of this. Her little tippy toes on that spool, and she's sitting on that pin cushion. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. But like I said, look how big. Look how big this fabric is. I mean, so these pieces are going to be large. But I'm okay with it because I need to stitch them all. So I'm thinking I'll probably, rotate them. I see a lot of people who have the fantastic idea. They just rotate out. Like if it's spring, you put your spring one up. In summer, you put your summer one up. That or, I'll just plaster the ceiling and walls of my entire house with cross stitch. I'm good with it. So yeah, I just love this one. This is such a fun stitch. So thank you for stitching it with me, Amanda. I'm having so much fun. Okay, and last but not least is my Modern Folk Embroidery 2021/22 for me, The Fruit of Plenty. A lot of people have finished this. You've probably seen it all over Flosstube. A lot of beautiful colors, a lot of really, really beautiful stitching. I am stitching mine on 32 count buttercream. The colors I am using are 3064 for the pink, the dusty pink, and 3031 for the mocha brown. And here is where I got to. Now I am working on the April block, which is in that bottom right. And I love it. That's a very dense block. Obviously, you can see the stitching there is almost full coverage. I love doing it. It's so beautiful. I've been trying to dedicate Friday nights to this piece. I did pretty much work on it. I think there was one Friday I did not. But, just sitting down and dedicating one day a week to it, it's amazing how much progress I'm making from where I was. And like I said, those of you who are new here maybe don't know, this piece, I was stitching on this piece one night when my sweet little niece Magnolia had to be rushed to the emergency room for 105-degree fever, which is very scary. And so my sister Megan went with her, and I was just sitting there working on this piece, and with COVID and everything, we couldn't go to the hospital to support them, and I was just thinking about them so hard, I just stitched their initials right into the piece, and that happened in the March block here. So I stitched 2 M's right down here, one for Magnolia and one for Megan, my sister. And then I went back and, so often with stitching, and I said this in my last video, so often with stitching, you can remember what you were doing at the time. You look back at the pattern, it's like you can remember yourself, where you were sitting, where you were stitching, what you were doing, what was going on in your life. And I love that about stitching. And so in February of last year, I was staying with my mom for a few days because she had hip surgery. She had hip replacement surgery. And so she was very, very much on my mind. And I stitched her initial here, D, in the February block for Debbie. And then in the January block, January of last year, my grandmother was healing herself from stage 4 breast cancer. And she's still in that battle. She's doing really, really well. We're super proud of her. But her and my grandfather were foremost in my mind at that time. And so I stitched F for Fred and L for Lolly. So this has turned out to be more than just a stitch along for me. This has turned out to be kind of an heirloom piece for me because I think it's gonna, someday, God willing, if I live to be like 95, maybe I can get all my whips done, number one. Number two, I can look back at this and remember this time in my family's journey and what was going on, and yeah. So I have no plan for whose initials are next. It's just going to be when I get to that spot where an initial can fit what's going on in life, who I'm thinking of at the time. And so that really makes me happy. I'm really enjoying that piece. Okay, let's talk about plans for March. So for March here in my little planner, I am planning to finish Valentine's Day, which I talked about, Valentine's Trio, which I talked about. I'm going to continue working on Stitching and Quilt. I'm going to continue working on Will You Be My Valentine. And then I'd also like to get out Flea Market Flowers. I love that whip so much. I saw Michelle at Penny's Daughter Share stitch this, and she turned it into a beautiful wall hanging. Go check out her channel. So I'd like to get that one out and get some stitching done on that. Market. So wow. I should just save up all year for market. There's so many beautiful patterns that have come out. I love people who are showing on their videos what their favorites are and maybe things that they had ordered. So I'm going to insert some pictures here. I've only ordered four, ordered 4 charts, but I have several others on my wish list. And I ordered them from Abby, the Top Knot Stitcher. I did a pre-order, but I will insert the pictures here of the 4 that I have on order. Aren't those beautiful? That pink brick house. Oh my gosh, that one got me immediately. And I love that saying. I actually have a little plaque in my house that has that saying on it. So yeah, I'm super excited for those to come along. Now let's finish up. Let's finish up with the happy card. Let's see. Oh, we're on a little bit over a half hour. So we are on number 15. I am grateful. And yes, I am, folks. I'm very grateful lately. I realize that what is right about my life outnumbers what I perceive to be wrong about my life. I choose to focus on what makes me feel good. I am grateful. Wow, isn't that funny that that card came up today after I just told you guys about all my health problems and how I'm trying to stay grateful and centered. This one I think was speaking to me today. Wow. So I am grateful. I am grateful even despite some challenges. I'm grateful for the life I have, and I'm grateful for the family that I have and the support that I have. So I hope each of you, there's not a single one of you out there on the other side of this camera, I know for a fact, that doesn't have some struggle going on. Ooh, let me take a breath. I got such a frog in my throat. There's not a single one of you on the other side of this camera lens that doesn't have some sort of struggle going on. That I know to be true of everyone. I try to think that when I'm in traffic and people are driving like angry, that everyone's got some sort of struggle going on that's in their minds. But take the time, as I'm sure all of you have, and be cognizant of the things you have to be grateful for, because it makes us more rounded humans. So until we meet again, please put a comment in if you're new. Say hi. I'd love to get to know you, and enter for the giveaway. And I should be back in 3 weeks. I hope you're all well, and take care. Bye.